Travis Kelce was about to reject the Chiefs' $16.5 million contract offer because he wanted to spend more time with Taylor Swift. But what Taylor told him at midnight was so shocking that Travis signed the contract first thing in the morning. When Travis was ready to walk away from millions for love, Taylor's midnight confession changed everything. The March evening in Kansas City started like any other, but Travis Kelce had no idea it would end with the biggest decision of his career. He sat at his kitchen island, staring at the contract Brett Veach had sent over that afternoon. The numbers were right there in black and white. $16.5 million guaranteed for another year with the Kansas City Chiefs. A year ago, this would have been a no-brainer. Sign the papers, get back to the grind, keep building the legacy. But now, with his wedding to Taylor Swift just 3 months away, everything felt different. At 36, he'd already accomplished more than most players could dream of. 3 Super Bowls, countless records, enough money to last several lifetimes. Maybe it was time to hang up the cleats and start the next chapter. The front door opened with Taylor's familiar keychain jingle, followed by the sound of her heels clicking across the hardwood. She appeared in the kitchen doorway, still wearing the sleek black blazer from her label meeting, looking every inch the mogul she was. "Hey, babe," she said, dropping her purse on the counter with a thud. "How was your day?" "Same old grind," Travis replied, quickly closing the laptop. "How'd the meeting go?" Taylor grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge, but her sharp green eyes immediately clocked his closed laptop and the tension in his shoulders. After almost 2 years together, she could read him like one of her own songs. "What's wrong?" she asked, settling onto the stool next to him. "You've got that look." "What look?" "The look you get when you're trying to figure out how to tell me something you think I won't want to hear." Damn, she was good! Travis reopened the laptop, revealing the contract terms. "Brett sent this over today, for next season." Taylor leaned over to scan the numbers, her eyebrows rising slightly. $16.5 million! Travis, that's incredible! "Yeah, it is. But?" Travis closed the laptop and turned to face her fully. "But I've been thinking, about us, about the wedding, about what comes after. I'm 36, Tay. I've been grinding for 14 seasons. Maybe it's time to call it." Taylor's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. "You want to retire?" "I want to be present for our marriage. Really present. Not the guy who's constantly juggling football and you, trying to make it work around training camps and your tour schedule." "When do they need an answer?" "Tomorrow morning. Free agency starts Monday." Taylor nodded slowly, processing. "And you've decided?" "I think so. Yeah, I think I have." "Okay," she said simply. "If that's what you want." "It's what I want for us." "Right, for us." They moved through dinner in relative quiet, both lost in thought. Travis kept expecting Taylor to push back, to ask more questions, but she seemed to be turning something over in her mind. By bedtime, he was feeling more confident about his choice. If Taylor was okay with it, then he was making the right call. He was almost asleep when her voice cut through the darkness. "Travis?" "Yeah?" "Can I tell you something?" Something in her tone made him roll over to face her. The room was dark, but he could sense a shift in the air between them. "Always." Taylor was quiet for so long, he thought she might have fallen asleep. Then she spoke, and what she said hit him like a blindside hit from a linebacker. "I don't want to marry a version of you that quit for me." The words landed like a physical blow. "What?" "I fell in love with Travis Kelce, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. The guy who gets fired up about game plans and comes home exhausted but buzzing because he got to do what he loves. The guy who talks about the kingdom like it's sacred ground." Travis sat up in bed, his heart rate spiking. "Taylor, what are you saying?" She sat up too, and even in the darkness he could feel the intensity radiating from her. "I'm saying that if you retire because you think that's what I want, you're dead wrong. Do you know what I think about when I see you on that field? I think about how proud I am that this incredible athlete, this man who's still elite at 36, chose me. Not some regular guy who's impressed by my success, but someone who gets what it means to be excellent because he lives it every day. Travis felt his throat close. But I thought you wanted me around more. I want you to be happy. And Travis, you are never happier than when you're talking ball. When you come home from practice and break down some route you guys ran, or when you're watching film and explaining why a play worked, that's when you're most yourself. She reached over and flicked on the bedside lamp, and he could see unshed tears in her eyes. If you retire from me, you'll resent me eventually. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but someday you'll be watching the Chiefs from our couch and you'll wonder what would have happened if you'd played another season. And I can't live with being the reason you walked away from something you love. Taylor, I'm not done. Her voice was stronger now, more certain. You asked me once why I keep touring even though I could stop tomorrow and never worry about money. And I told you it's because music is who I am, not just what I do. Well, football is who you are, Travis. It's not just your job or your paycheck. It's part of your DNA. Travis stared at her, feeling like he was seeing clearly for the first time in weeks. You think I don't know how to love someone with a demanding career? I've been doing it for 2 years. I figured out how to be with someone who travels, who has crazy schedules, who's passionate about their work. That's not the problem. Then what is? The problem is you thinking you have to choose between football and me. Like there's some rule that says married people can't both chase excellence. Something cracked open in Travis's chest, something he hadn't realized he'd been holding tight. I was scared, he admitted. Scared I wouldn't be able to give you what you deserve. What I deserve, Taylor said, moving closer to him, is the man I fell in love with. And that man plays football for the Kansas City Chiefs. Even if it means more time apart during the season? More scheduling conflicts around playoffs and album releases? Travis, we've made it work this far, haven't we? Through your playoff runs and my tour dates and all the insanity that comes with both our careers? Why would getting married suddenly change that? She was right. They had figured it out. Not perfectly, not without challenges, but they'd found a rhythm that worked. Besides, Taylor added with a smile that was half teasing, half serious, do you really think I want a husband who's home all the time? I've got music to make and an empire to run. I need you to go be great at football so I can miss you the right amount. Travis laughed despite the emotional weight of the conversation. You want to miss me? I want to miss you and then have you come home and tell me about your day and feel proud that the man tearing up NFL defenses is mine. I want to wear your jersey and know that the guy making impossible catches is coming home to me. I want our future kids to think their dad is the coolest person on earth because he played for the Chiefs. Kids? The word caught in his throat. Future kids. Hypothetical kids who will grow up thinking it's totally normal that their dad catches passes from Patrick Mahomes. Travis pulled her closer, pieces clicking into place. So you're saying I should sign the deal? I'm saying you should do what makes you happy, and walking away from football right now would make you miserable. You really believe that? I know that, because I know you. She traced patterns on his chest with her finger. You're not ready to be done, Travis. You've still got more in the tank, more records to break, more moments to create. Don't rob yourself of those because you think being a good husband means giving up being a great player. Travis lay back down, pulling Taylor with him. His mind was racing with everything she'd just said. Patrick's been texting me, you know, Taylor said quietly, asking if I knew what you were thinking. That man is like a worried parent when it comes to your career decisions. Patrick's been bugging you about my contract? He's terrified you're going to retire and leave him with no one to throw to. I told him he needed to trust the process. What process? The process of you remembering who you are. Travis was quiet for a moment, then started laughing. Not just chuckling, but really laughing. What's funny? I've been overthinking this for weeks, trying to figure out the right choice, what you wanted, what was best for us, and the whole time, the answer was just to keep being myself. Sometimes the obvious answer is the right answer. I'm calling Brett first thing in the morning. Good. The kingdom needs their tight end back. Travis looked at her with something approaching awe. You know what you just did? Reminded my fiancé that he's Travis Kelce? You talked me out of early retirement using pure psychology. You knew exactly what buttons to push. I told you the truth. That's not manipulation, that's love. And what's the truth? The truth is that I fell in love with a football player. A really, really good football player who gets fired up about the game and comes home happy because he got to compete at the highest level. I don't want to marry some watered-down version of you that quit because he thought that's what I wanted. Travis kissed her then, tasting the promise of a future that somehow managed to include everything they both loved. I love you, he said against her lips. I love you too, all of you, especially the part that can't imagine walking away from the game. The next morning, Travis called Brett Veach at 7 a.m. sharp. Travis, it's early. I'm signing the contract. There was a pause, then Brett's relieved laughter. Thank God. I was starting to think we were losing you to domestic bliss. Turns out domestic bliss includes football. That Taylor of yours is something else. Yeah, she is. Within hours, the news broke everywhere. Patrick posted celebration photos on social media, the Chiefs' kingdom went wild, and Taylor left a single heart emoji on the team's announcement that somehow said everything. That evening, they sat in the same kitchen where Travis had wrestled with his decision, sharing takeout and scrolling through the reactions. Any regrets? Taylor asked, stealing a bite of his lo mein. Only that I almost made the stupidest decision of my career. What changed your mind? You did. You reminded me that real love isn't about sacrifice. It's about finding someone who protects your dreams, even from yourself. Taylor smiled and reached across the table to take his hand. Speaking of which, there is one tiny thing I should mention about you signing this contract. What's that? Well, now that we've got an extra $16.5 million in the household budget, I might have gone a little overboard on the wedding planning. Travis nearly choked on his noodles. How overboard? Let's just say our wedding might cost more than some countries' GDP. But hey, at least we can afford it now. Travis stared at her for a moment, then burst out laughing. Taylor Swift, did you just convince me to sign a football contract to pay for our wedding? No, she said with mock seriousness. I convinced you to sign a football contract because you're Travis Kelce, and that's what Travis Kelce does. The wedding thing is just a happy coincidence. You're incredible. I'm practical, and in love with a football player who's about to have the best season of his career. As Travis looked at his fiancée across their kitchen table, surrounded by the ordinary magic of their shared life, he realized something profound. The right person doesn't ask you to choose between love and passion. They help you find a way to have both. And Taylor Swift, it turned out, was very much the right person.